Welcome back to WCAL's TikTok, your local source for what's trending on the music side of our favorite app. I am your host, DJ Kidney, and today I am joined virtually by Exmiranda, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great. So glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here because usually we wouldn't be able to interview artists as far away as you are, so it's
Cool.
really nice.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. You're like the first official college radio interview I've done. So I'm like, yay, checked off the bucket list. So
Well, we're honored to be the first people to interview you for college radio, believe me.
cool.
My first question for you today would be, how would you describe yourself as an artist?
So as an artist, I would describe myself as a person who strives to be authentically themselves. So when it comes to creating music, when it comes to writing songs, when it comes to just creating content in general, my goal is always to just stay as true to myself as possible with everything I create.
I love that. That's really important, and it's not seen a lot in current music trends. So it's nice to see someone like you out here doing so good because you're so unique and I love it. Like when I found you on TikTok, I immediately sent you to my best friend and I was like, I want to try and get an interview with her. And
So
she was
cool.
like, do it.
No, that's so cool. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
But thank you for making the music that I could find. How would you describe your music style to new listeners?
Yeah, so I would say my music style, I would say the foundation of my music style is hip hop, but I do a lot of kind of like experimenting with like different sounds and different vibes. So even though like I'm hip hop focused, there's so many different things I branch into where like I have like my song I just released is called Fresh Fro, and that song has like a funk vibe, a really groovy funk vibe. The song I released previously was a little bit more on kind of like the jazzy vibe. So it had more of like a jazzy kind of like conscious feel to it. And then the song I released previously was kind of like a heavy trap, like fun bravado type style. So I kind of like try to just do whatever I want. My goal is not to be in a box. So that's what I try to do.
I love that. I think that makes you stand out from the rest, the way that you're open to dabbling in different types of music. And I think that makes a really good artist. So
thank you.
Who do you draw inspiration from as an artist or as a human in general?
Yeah, so let me see. I would say one of my favorites, I would say my favorite artist, I have like a collective of artists that I love the most. So I love Nina Simone, and she's like one of the old school activists and artists from back in the day. So my mom used to always listen to her, and like she kind of like, you know, would always like be playing music by her, like even though it was like music that her mom used to listen to. But the thing I really loved about her was she was unapologetically herself, and she was an artist who believed in reflecting the times with her music. So that's something I always kind of take inspiration from. And then in addition to that, I would say I'm a huge fan of the like hip hop mainstays like Biggie, Pac. And then when it comes to kind of like other styles of music, like I'm a really big fan of Janelle Monáe, and I like a lot of the different like artists coming out, especially some of kind of the newer underground artists too. So I usually just listen to like a whole bunch of music, but not like exactly only hip hop, just like a whole bunch of stuff.
Good. I like that. What made you choose TikTok though specifically to promote your music? Like
yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
So the thing for me with TikTok, the funniest thing is, and I've been doing music for so long, I would be like shooting different music videos, like paying out of pocket to kind of like figure out Facebook ads and all this other stuff. And I had like so much music on Spotify, and I'd be doing a lot of stuff. And then whilst the pandemic, like even though it's still happening, but when it first started, I was trying to figure out like ways to get my music out there because in Toronto, it can be harder to get your music international if you don't already have like a co-sign from like a major artist. So I was trying to think of different ways, and I kept on watching Gary Vee. I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is. He's pretty much like one of these motivational people on Instagram. And he kept on
Mhm.
always saying like, yo, you guys need to try out TikTok. It's so good. And I was like, okay, let me just try to dabble in it and see if I can actually like start promoting my music on TikTok. And I started basically about 2-3 months ago. And like everything started like taking off and people were vibing to my music. So I'm so happy I actually started. So yeah.
I'm really glad you chose TikTok because otherwise I probably would have never found your music, and I was so
Yeah, right?
excited.
No, I'm so happy I found TikTok too, because initially I wanted to join TikTok from like months ago, but I wasn't like feeling like I knew what I wanted to do on TikTok. But then later on, well, during the pandemic, I had more time to start thinking about what I would want to do. And I'm like, just be yourself. Like, you don't have to overthink it. Just do whatever you want and just be yourself. And that worked for me.
Good. I'm glad to hear. Um, how do you feel TikTok has influenced the music scene and your career specifically?
So I would say TikTok has made it where I don't need a gatekeeper. I don't need like someone to tell me where, what, and how to produce my music and when to put out music or what I should do. And it's given me so much creative control and like so much kind of like it's given me the permission to just do whatever I want. Like initially when I was kind of focused on more like using ads and waiting for like different like music groups or organizations or like labels or whatever to kind of like get me like to the forefront, or waiting for people to give me gigs and things like that. It was kind of like very unpredictable where I couldn't control what was happening. But with TikTok, it's made it where everything has just like gone above and beyond my expectations. So I'll just even give you like a kind of like a brief understanding of how things started. So initially, before I actually started making TikToks, I had like 100, and I would say 175 up to about like 200 followers on Spotify. And that was after like a couple of years of me like putting out music. I think I had like maybe 8 to 9 songs out that time. And then when it came to my like monthly listeners, I probably had like maybe roughly like 500 or less monthly listeners. But then after going on TikTok, now I have like 70,000 monthly listeners, right? And I'm like almost at like 12,000 followers, just like with going hard for like about 2 months on TikTok, right? So TikTok's done so much where even currently, I feel like with TikTok, I've gotten to the place where if I'm just consistent, I can expect like to increase and continue to grow, and while still being myself. So it's like really great.
Yeah, definitely. And I think TikTok served as a good place to like build a community too for upcoming
Exactly.
artists.
Yeah. No, I
It's
totally
giving
agree with you.
it's giving a new voice to people who otherwise wouldn't have had it. So I think
Exactly. No, I totally agree. And the thing with you even mentioning that, the thing that comes to mind is like initially, whenever I would kind of put my music out there, it would be hard for me to carve out an audience. So a lot of times there would be people who may like one song, but they may not like another song, or there'd be other people who are kind of like not feeling my music as much. And the thing with even in Toronto, Canada, there's a specific sound with hip hop, like, because we all know Drake has like a specific sound, right? So when
mhm.
people hear you kind of deviate from like the typical like Drake sound, or like kind of like the Toronto sound, because that's what they pretty much call here, that's like the Toronto sound. So when you're deviating from that, a lot of times people kind of scratch their heads and they're like, what is this, right? So it made it where I was able to kind of find people who actually understood what I was doing musically. So it's really cool.
Good. It makes me really happy to hear that like people are finding a community there and being
Yeah.
able to like be found, and it makes me so happy because there's so many artists I've watched over quarantine like just shoot up into fame from TikTok,
Yeah.
and I hope it happens to you. It seems like it already
Yeah, that's what I'm
is.
hoping. I think the main thing is just being consistent. So if I'm consistent and I keep on going, I don't give up. I'm definitely sure like I'll get to a place where like I can get more people hearing my music. So definitely.
um the next question I have for you is, what's it been like promoting music during a global pandemic?
The thing with it is it's been weird with like kind of like the the way like the whole world is. But at the same time, even though there's like so much negatives with things happening in the world where you can't really physically interact with people as much, there's still like a lot of attention on like online in general. So because there isn't as much happening outside, everyone's glued to their devices, using that to kind of like, you know, feel like connected in some way. So it's made it where whenever you put out content, whenever you do anything online, there's so much attention, there's people willing to connect and support and just like celebrate whatever you're doing. So it's made things like a lot more, I would say, like potent and like strong when it comes to the outreach, when it comes to music. And then another thing on top of that as well is just given more time as well too, because like now it's like people have like more free time on their hands, you know, so there's more like of an audience as well, where people aren't as like you know, busy doing anything like anywhere else because of the pandemic. So it's really good to be online like promoting things right now.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's nice that although we can't be face to face with people, we get to have interactions like we're having right now. Like this probably would have never
Exactly.
happened.
Exactly. No, 100%. Totally agree with you on that.
My next song is probably no, next question, because it has song in it, is probably my favorite question to ask, and it's what's your favorite song you've released?
I would have to say my favorite song I've released so far is okay, the song I released called Epiphany. So Epiphany was a song I released before Fresh Fro. And the reason why I really love that song so much, like currently, is because that song kind of was like a defining moment for me. Because a lot of times when I would be writing songs, like before Epiphany, I would write songs constantly like overthinking sometimes. So I would write a song and be like, okay, like if I use this word, people won't understand what I'm saying. Or if I say it this way, nobody's gonna understand. So maybe I should like water down the words or put less words. But with Epiphany, when I was writing Epiphany, I was like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm just gonna do whatever I want. So the thing that made me love Epiphany so much is because with that song, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I don't care. It's a pandemic. Let's just go. So with that song, it was like really kind of like a setting moment for me. And it allowed me to kind of get to that point where now I just put out anything I want. So even with my song Fresh Fro, that was kind of like birthed out of like Epiphany, where I was just writing music that was like influencing how I felt versus like thinking about what everyone else is doing in the world. So that's kind of like, I would say the defining moment for me was Epiphany. And then getting to that point where now I'm just like releasing whatever I want. And Epiphany was kind of like that defining song that was like, just do you, don't worry about anything else. So
Good stuff. It's nice to like hear that you found a song that was like your turning point in your career, kind of, where you
yeah,
decided to be you authentically to
yeah,
everybody. It's really nice to hear, because usually you hear people write the other direction where they start writing to conform to society. So it's nice hearing that
yeah.
you're doing the opposite.
Yeah, no, and that's my goal now. It's like whenever I write a song, I just want to be able to focus on speaking to myself, right? So when I'm now, that's my focus. When I'm writing a song, I'm like, okay, does this song entertain me? Does it inspire me? Does this touch me? Does this motivate me? And that's what my goal is now with writing songs, is just to make sure like it's inspiring me. And if it's inspiring me, there's so many other people who are going to have the same emotions and the same experiences as me in different shapes or forms, and they're going to like it too. So yeah.
Good, good. Um, my final question for you today is, where can our listeners find you? Like, how would you like them to like reach out to you? Where can they find your music? How can they support you?
Definitely. So if you want to check out my music, I have at least like about 10 to, I think I have 12. So I have 12 songs released now, and all my music can be found on Spotify. So definitely follow me on Spotify and stay up to date on everything I'm releasing. I'm releasing another song on September 25th called Steam. So stay tuned for that. And then also everyone can find my music on YouTube too, because I know sometimes, you know, like the don't allow for people to have Spotify, right? So you can always check YouTube. Everything's on there.
Good, good. Did you want to plug your social media or anything so people could follow along?
Yeah, for sure. So on TikTok, you can find me on TikTok. I'm at TikTok and Instagram as well. So my name under that is Sincerely Exmiranda. So that's SINCERELYEXMIRANDA, and that's both on Instagram and TikTok. And then you can find me on YouTube as well as Exmiranda. And pretty much if you do a Google search on Exmiranda, you'll find like everything else. So you could definitely check me out and support my music.
I know I sure will, and I've been telling my friends about your music since I found you. So,
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
well, thank you for being a creator and giving us this opportunity to talk to you and put your music out into the world and another group of people to
Thank you.
experience what I've had the blessing of experiencing.
Thank you so much. And that means so much. And I'm like honestly thankful to you guys for letting me have the platform to come and talk to you, and so excited for what the future holds. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Well, thank you for responding, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much. And same to you guys. The party's fanfare left me feeling famished, so I get a sandwich with a fruity parfait. Then I jaywalk, cross the busy byway when I hear a high hey from the farthest exit. The car was Lexus, pause assess this unknown figure as his thumb holds a withered, lit up cigarette. I considered his address, but I already suspect. He just wanna pay that off and play it off like there's no cost. He just wanna take this off me off and then not. Then he wanna tell me off, control my every thought. But after he breaks her off and breaks my open heart, he like, what's wrong with me? He wanna bond with me, but I ain't ready to give him my autonomy. He's so fond of me, he wanna bond with me, but I ain't ready to give him my autonomy. He's so fond of me, he wanna bond with me, but I ain't ready to give him my autonomy. He's so fond of me, he wanna bond with me, but I never give it up. I keep him closed shut like some pirate patches. Woody like a tow truck without the mileage massive. I'm a tyrant fascist when it comes to my anatomy. Touch you, he demand to be my plus two. So my memories he thrust through. That's insanity. Discuss what with you when I don't want new friends. So I give him long digits, go along and mama business. I assume he was finishing past you, but last move that he make on me flaunts key of Audi. Said, "Bae, shall we stroke the strip in my whip? My PayPal drips, I'm it, the gal's pit." Let me think about it. I'm still thinking, don't rush me, I'm still thinking. Then I was like, never ever, ever, no way, no how. Never ever, ever, no way, no how. He just wanna pay that off and play it off like there's no cost. He just wanna take this off me, off and then not. Then he wanna tell me off, control my every thought. But after he breaks her